All right, it's the 8 o'clock hour. It is time for our Sugar Bowl interview of the week. The Allstate Sugar Bowl allows us to interview a former player, a former coach, someone associated with the Sugar Bowl, etc. every week on our show. We do it in the 8 o'clock hour. This week we got a special guest. We've got Bill Hancock, who is the executive director of the College Football Playoff. It's a big year for the College Football Playoff. It's the final year of the 4-team format before they switch to 12 teams. So we'll bring him in and talk about that and a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the program tonight, the executive director of the College Football Playoff, Bill Hancock. Bill, thanks so much for taking time out of your night tonight and joining us on the program, man. We're really excited to have you.
Hey, glad to be here. Good to hear you. And I love New Orleans, and I feel like I'm being connected with New Orleans, even though right now I'm not exactly there.
Well, look, we appreciate that. And let's talk and jump right into it. You've been the executive director of the College Football Playoff since the inception in 2014, and congratulations. I know you recently announced your retirement, but you're going to finish out this year with a transition. So with you retiring, tell our fans if there's any favorite memories or experiences that you've had over the years with the College Football Playoff.
Oh, my goodness, what a question. Well, I'm going to remember primarily the friendships, the people that I got to work with. This is my 19th season in postseason football. And before that, I spent 16 years as director of the NCAA Men's Final Four. Loved the Final Fours that we had in New Orleans. I remember the Keith Smart shot. I remember talking to Dean Smith at courtside. I remember putting the Superdome configuration together for basketball, and we really had to start from scratch, and it was awesome. And the people that we worked with were just wonderful. Football memories on the side. Well, the Vince Young game was my first season. And, of course, that game at the Rose Bowl was one of the great games of all time.
Right.
And I think I probably have to take credit for that. You know, I was a director, so I mean, we get the blame with games or blowouts. So I think we should get the credit for
yeah, you're like the quarterback, right? You get all the praise for the victory and then everything else for the losses.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, you know, if you ask me what my number one memory on the field was, it would be that game.
As you said, one of the greatest games that was played in bowl history. And this year, we got a lot of great games that have been played. Big year for College Football Playoff. I know that there are a lot of teams, and maybe I'm just looking at this wrong, but to me, we're this deep in the season, and there are a lot of teams still undefeated. Now, look, I know a lot of that is going to change when we get to our conference championships, and we might have two undefeated teams playing each other. And we still got a few weeks left in the season for this to play out. But do you remember a season where we've had this many undefeated teams going this deep in the regular season?
No, I don't. I think usually by this time we're down to 2 or 3. And if you think about it, you know, the two undefeateds in the Big Ten will play each other, but the other undefeateds don't play each other. So we could have a bunch of undefeateds going into selection weekend. And
I guess on that note, this is going to be the final year that we're going to have a 4-team format for the playoffs. So given that, I'm guessing this year, you know, I know it's not going to happen, but if there's any year that kind of gives an example of why we should have expanded the playoffs, which we did, it'd probably be the situation that we're in this year with this many undefeated teams. So tell our fans a little bit about the decision that was made to expand the playoffs from 4 to 12 teams.
It was based on one word: participation. More athletes, more teams are going to have a shot at the national championship. And that's a no-brainer mathematical
right.
statement. It's sometimes you look at simple statements and don't make it too complicated. This is why we're expanding, more participation. Obviously, we're going from 3 games in the CFP, 2 semis and a champ game, and to 11 games, first round, quarterfinal, semis, and champ. And it'll add a lot more excitement to college football. So we're all excited and really can't wait for next year.
When you bring up the word,
But I do have to say this, Brad, as we talk about next year, and we're seeing 12-team brackets out in the media, which I get that, but everybody needs to remember, we're going to crown a champion. A team of student athletes is going to be the national champion this year in the 14 tournament, and we need to make sure we own that and we give them their due.
Oh, yeah, and it is not a small feat to accomplish that this day and age, whether it's in, football, which we're dealing with now, or any other sport, baseball, basketball. There's always some sort of playoff that we have, March Madness, et cetera, College World Series. But football's getting it right and doing it right. And as you said, we're going to have, come January, a new national champion. Well, I say new. I don't know. You could have a repeat, right?
Well, you could. You sure could. And we're excited about the upcoming semifinal at New Orleans.
Well, let's talk about that. So this year, New Orleans is going to get a playoff semifinal. And then over the next 2 years, the Sugar Bowl is going to have a playoff quarterfinal. So tell our fans a little bit about how this is going to pan out with certain cities and certain bowls becoming semifinal and quarterfinal and then finals. And is New Orleans and the Sugar Bowl going to be allowed to be a part of that playoff going forward?
Well, we're very happy that New Orleans has back-to-back playoff games between this year and the next 2 years, as you mentioned. We feel really good about that. We don't know yet where the quarterfinals and semifinals will be played starting in 2027. And that discussion will happen this spring. We do have a window during which we have to talk to the current 6 games and give them an opportunity to get in the hunt for that. I will say this, the Sugar Bowl with Jeff Hundley and Paul Houlihan before him and all their staff has just been great. And we enjoy working with them. They put on a great event every year. We're all excited about the changes at the Superdome. My goodness, night and day.
Oh, yeah, renovations are awesome.
Yeah, and so, but I don't want to predict what might happen for 2027. We're just going to we'll go through the process. Everybody will have a shot at it, and we'll see how we come out.
So let's talk about that. This year, we're going to have 2 semifinal games. It's going to be the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl. One of those games will be 1v4. The other one will be 2v3. So tell our fans how the decision is made to give each bowl that matchup. So which one gets the 1 and 4 game and which one gets the 2 versus 3 game?
Yeah, let me say it this way. The number one seed drives it. So the number 1 seed game will be placed in the most advantageous site for that team. And we'll also be thinking about, okay, who's 4? And because we don't want to put number 1 at a disadvantage with the crowd.
Understand.
So that it's as simple as that. Number 1 drives it.
Okay.
And then, of course, seed 2 with their game against 3 will go to the other sides.
All right, makes sense. Talking right now with Bill Hancock, the executive director of the College Football Playoff. And Bill, they officially named your successor last Friday. It's going to be Lieutenant General Richard Clark. So tell our fans what we can expect out of him in the years coming forward with the College Football Playoffs.
Oh, he's great. I knew Rich a little bit before he was named a director, and I've obviously talked to him a lot in the last week. It was a week ago today that he was named executive director. Great guy. Everyone's going to love Rich. Great leader. Someone said he is a leader of leaders, and I think that's exactly right. He is eagerly looking forward to this. He knows what a great job he has landed. Nobody knows that better than me. I do, of course, because I've been getting to live this dream of managing this event now for a long time. But people are going to love Rich. He's going to do great.
Well, you've done a great job since, I guess, 2014 when this whole football playoff thing started. So we're going to miss you. We really appreciate everything that you've done, and especially giving time out to do interviews like this that we're doing today. And look, Bill, I know you've been on our show before. We've had an interview, but we kind of changed things up since last time you've been here. Here's what I mean. I figured that since I had to take the bar exam, everybody else that comes on my show is going to take the bar exam. So we're going to give you Brad's bar exam, which you didn't have to pass last time, but it's only fitting that since you're on your way out, you're going to have to pass this one last test. So we got Brad's bar exam, 30 seconds, true, false. You answer. Are you ready?
I think.
All right, 30 seconds on the clock. Let's go. You attended LSU and you lived in the Tiger Stadium dorms.
False.
You attended Oklahoma and actually did spend a night in the Tiger Stadium dorm when you were there with the Sooner baseball team.
True.
No air conditioning, right?
No air conditioning.
You were the executive director of the NCAA Final Four for 13 years.
Correct.
You attended 45 consecutive Final Fours.
Correct. This year will be my 45th in a row.
True or false? You worked for the U.S. Olympic Committee for 45 Olympic Games.
False.
You worked for the Olympic Committee for 15 Olympic Games.
True.
You married your high school sweetheart, Nikki Perry.
True.
She is the sister of the famous singer Katy Perry.
False.
Your hometown of Hobart, Oklahoma celebrated Bill and Nikki Hancock Day in 2015.
True.
All right. You have officially passed Brad's bar exam. Congratulations, Bill. You're an honorary member of the bar, but don't go into any court and try to practice law.
Hey, Brad, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. And if this is the last time we do this, it's been great. But if you ever want me to have me on again, I'll be happy to do it.
I tell you what, we're going to take you up on that. I'll contact John Salisbury. We're getting you back on next year.
All right, Brad. Thanks a lot. Have a good time. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, Bill. There he is, the executive director, the final year of the college football playoff, Mr. Bill Hancock. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we got more updates from our reporters scattered throughout the state. Also, 9 o'clock hour, you're going to want to stay tuned for winning scores and winning coaches. And finally, we're with you all the way to 10:30. Don't touch the dial. Stay with us till late night on the Allstate Sugar Bowl Prep Football Roundup, only right here on the Big 870 WWL. 70 WWL.